we are here because we care. We care about the world we live in. We care about the future of our children. So I will just suggest that we roll up our sleeves and get to work. Welcome all of you.
We're blowing up the whole industry by creating a partnership with energy companies, for example.
It's not just a partnership of you and I working together, it's actually a partnership for the common good. It's a partnership that is intergenerational.
Ethiopia is now growing very fastly, so they have to be a part of this change. And I will invite all Denmark investors and all other country investors to invest in our country.
Inspiration or a thought that you think, revelation, do write it down.
When I heard about P4G, it's very important that BYD is represented here and to talk about our sharing experience working with different partners.
So many people have shown interest in our product. They've passed by, given us their business cards, and asked us to reach out to them.
Hey, don't let them come in with a prize first.
I'm not surprised. Next wave plastics.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Melinda Crane.
Good morning. Good morning, dear heads of state, ministers, members of the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second day of the P4G Copenhagen Summit. As you could see from the film, Day one was a resounding success. We heard the Prime Minister there telling us we need to get to work, and we truly did get to work on the summit theme of accelerating partnerships, which we certainly need to do because, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, climate change is an immediate reality, and especially in the vulnerable developing nations of the world. As the UN climate scientists have just reminded us, we must accelerate our efforts if we're serious about fulfilling the Paris Agreement. So here, today, we want to inspire and build global leadership for sustainable change to realize the 4 Gs in P4G. That's green growth and global goals. And to do that, we need to focus on the P, on partnering. So important, it's enshrined in Sustainable Development Goal number 17. Because joined up, we are more versatile, we are more knowledgeable, we are more resourceful, as yesterday's events amply demonstrated. We cannot continue business as usual. We heard that too from Prime Minister Rasmussen. We need to be practicing business unusual. We need to work together across traditional boundaries in search of shared value for everyone for sustainable development. And that's what we're here to do today. This first session is dedicated to the topic of global leadership for a sustainable future. We have an outstanding group of leaders with us who will share their insights and their experiences in a series of keynotes and in a high-level dialogue. We begin with a greeting from our host. Denmark was amongst the countries that initiated P4G and launched it just a little over a year ago. And that effort reflects the deep commitment of the Danish Prime Minister, who co-chaired the UN Sustainable Development Summit in 2015, the summit at which the Sustainable Development Goals were agreed. Please welcome the Prime Minister of Denmark, His Excellency Lars Løkke Rasmussen.
distinguished guests, President Moon, President Teshome, Prime Minister Phúc, Prime Minister Rutte, ministers, leaders of business, organizations, civil society, and youth representatives, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. 5 weeks ago in New York, the UN Secretary General sounded the alarm. The need for a transition to a greener economy is urgent, and there's no time to waste. And today, this hall echoes his concern. Just to mention a few examples. About 1/3 of all food goes to waste. Talking about food worth $1 trillion, which is thrown in the bin every year. Transportation is the fastest growing source of greenhouse gas emission and accounts for 23% of global CO2 emissions. And that is why we, together, build partnerships to meet these challenges. We combat food waste, we bring electric buses. During the summit, we will highlight many more challenges and solutions. I have been to quite a few summits trying to find solutions. And we argue about communication lines, etc., and we agree that we need to act together. And we also normally agree that we need to act now. But the question is how? And P4G is a part of the answer to that question. It's one of the tools we need. Yesterday, many of you were involved in activities which reflect the spirit of this alliance, bringing together businesses, governments, and civil society to form actual partnerships to take action. Because many of the needed solutions already exist. They are out there. We just need to identify them, develop them, and scale them for large-scale impact. And that is the mission of P4G. The future of the planet is at stake. We need leadership like never before, from governments, businesses, and civil society to build partnerships, reap their full potential, and accelerate the delivery on the SDGs. So I look very much forward to another vibrant and exciting day in your company. Let's pave the way for a greener and more prosperous future for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker leads a nation that has had one of the most remarkable development journeys over the past 60 years of any country on the planet. Today, South Korea is deeply committed to partnering with other countries to share the lessons of its own trajectory. It launched its P4G platform just this past July. Please welcome with me the President of South Korea, His Excellency Moon Jae-In.
라스무센 총리님, 각국 정상과 대표 및 귀빈 여러분, 행복한 나라 덴마크에서 여러분을 뵙게 돼서 마음이 편안해집니다. 지속 가능한 발전과 기후변화 대응이라는 우리 목표의 중대성을 깜빡 잊어버릴 것 같습니다. 오늘 제1회 P4G 정상회의에 참석하게 된 것을 매우 기쁘게 생각하며 회의를 준비해 주신 우리 라스무센 총리와 코펜하겐 시민 여러분께 경의를 표합니다. 덴마크는 많은 분야에서 앞서가는 나라이지만 특히 기후 환경 위기에 대해 세계 어느 나라보다 앞장서서 대응해 왔습니다. 1970년대부터 재생에너지로의 전환 정책을 모색했고 2050년 이후 화석연료를 사용하지 않겠다는 국가 비전을 제시했습니다. 이러한 덴마크의 의지가 오늘 P4G로 이어졌습니다. 덴마크는 대한민국이 위기에 놓여 있을 때에도 어려움에 동참했고 행복을 나누어 주었습니다. 덴마크 병원선 유틀란디아호는 한국 전쟁 당시 999일 동안 한국에 정박하며 5천여 명의 군인과 6천여 명의 민간인을 치료했습니다. 휴전이 된 뒤에도 의약품 지원, 의료봉사와 의료기술 연수를 통해 우리 국민들의 아픔과 상처를 치료해 주었습니다. 대한민국은 덴마크와 세계의 지원으로 전쟁을 극복할 수 있었습니다. 덕분에 오늘 지구촌 위기 대응에 세계와 함께 할 수 있게 되었습니다. 국교도 맺지 않은 먼 나라, 얼굴도 보지 못한 사람들을 위해 희생한 인류애가 기적 같은 일을 만들어냈습니다. 나는 지속 가능한 발전을 이루고 기후변화 위기에 대응하는 우리의 힘 또한 인류애에 있다고 생각합니다. 세계가 대한민국을 도왔던 대한민국도 인류애를 가지고 세계를 돕기 위해 항상 함께할 것입니다. 내외기민 여러분, 인류애는 차별 없이 포용하는 마음입니다. 촛불혁명으로 탄생한 대한민국 정부는 누구보다 더 포용의 힘을 잘 알고 있습니다. 국민의 삶을 전 생애에 거쳐 책임지고 경제성장의 혜택이 골고루 돌아가는 포용국가, 포용성장이 대한민국이 지향하는 가치입니다. 나는 오늘 국가 간에도 포용정신을 중심에 놓자고 제안하며 지속가능한 발전과 기후환경변화 대응을 위한 세 가지 포용정신을 말씀드리고자 합니다. 첫째, 국경과 분야를 넘는 포용입니다. 지난 6일 기후변화에 관한 정부 간 협의체는 지구온난화 1.5도C 보고서를 채택했습니다. 기후 전문가들은 산업화 이전에 비해 지구 온도 상승이 1.5도에 그치면 2도 올랐을 때보다 1천만 명의 목숨을 구할 수 있다고 예견합니다. 이에 앞서 파리 기후협정은 빈곤 퇴치와 불평등 감소를 통해 지구온난화 1.5도C 적용을 이룰 수 있다고 발표했습니다. 개발도상국가와 취약지역 등 국제적 지원과 협력으로 기후변화에 모든 나라가 공동 대응해야 한다는 것입니다. 특히 국가나 공공부문의 노력만으로 기후변화 같은 지구 전체의 의제를 해결하기는 불가능합니다. 따라서 각 대륙의 다양한 회원국과 시민사회, 산업계가 참여한 P4G 파트너십 프로젝트의 역할이 기대됩니다. 현실적으로 가능한 실천적 비전이 있었어야만 만들어질 수 있을 것입니다. 지난 7월 한국은 P4G 민간 협력 촉진을 위한 플랫폼을 출범시켰습니다. 관계 부처와 기관, 기업, 시민사회가 함께 물, 에너지, 순환경제, 도시, 농업 등 P4G의 주요 5대 주요 분야의 실현을 위해 협력할 것입니다. 민간 협력 프로젝트들은 단순히 환경적 성과에만 머무르지 않을 것입니다. 일자리 창출, 불평등 해소, 녹색 기술의 확산 같은 우리 사회의 포용성을 높이는 방향으로 진전시켜 나갈 것입니다. 둘째, 아시아의 포용입니다. 기원전 2000년부터 아시아 국가들은 치산 치수를 성공적인 국가 운영의 첫 번째 덕목으로 삼았습니다. 산과 물을 다스린다는 뜻이지만 그 정신은 자연을 존중한다는 것입니다. 나무를 가꿔 산사태를 방지했으며 물을 가두기보다 자연스럽게 흐르게 하여 홍수와 가뭄의 피해를 줄이고자 했습니다. 우리가 배워야 할 고대인의 지혜입니다. 그러나 현재 많은 아시아 국가들은 제조업 중심으로 급속한 경제 성장을 추구하며 환경 생태 보호에 본격적으로 나서지 못하고 있습니다. 중국과 인도의 인구만 해도 인구는 27억을 넘어서 세계 인구의 3분의 1 이상이 되었습니다. 나는 아시아의 적극적인 참여와 국제 협력이 이루어져야만 기후변화 대응과 지속 가능 발전의 꿈이 현실이 될 수 있을 것이라고 생각합니다. 선진국이나 국제기구들의 포용적인 도움이 절실합니다. 특히 북한과 같이 제조업 중심의 성장을 거치지 않은 나라들은 처음부터 경제 성장과 지속 가능한 발전을 동시에 도모하는 성장 모델을 적용할 수 있도록 도울 수 있을 것입니다. 탄소 배출을 늘리지 않으면서 인류의 공동 번영에 동참할 수 있는 방법이 모색되길 기대합니다. 셋째, 성공 사례의 공유와 포용입니다. 대한민국은 개발도상국에서 중견국가로 성장하는 동안 환경정책에서도 성공을 거둔 경험을 가지고 있습니다. 전후 폐허가 된 땅을 울창한 숲으로 가꾼 녹화 사업부터 지난 10년간 녹색 성장 정책을 통해 성장을 유지하면서도 온실가스 배출 강도를 줄이는 성과까지 다양한 성공을 거두었습니다. 현재도 깨끗하고 안전한 에너지 시스템으로의 전환을 강력하게 추진하고 있습니다. 동북아 에너지 슈퍼그리드 구상도 관련국과 협의하고 있습니다. 우리는 이 경험들을 기꺼이 다른 나라들과 공유할 수 있습니다. 대한민국은 이러한 경험을 글로벌 녹색 성장 연구소와 녹색 기후 기금을 통해 개도국과 나누고 지원하는 데에도 앞장서고 있습니다. 더 많은 국가의 사례가 세계인들을 위해서 공유되고 포용된다면 인류는 더욱 위대하게 전진할 수 있을 것이라고 믿습니다. 라스무센 총리님, 내외 기빈 여러분, 인류가 사랑하는 안데르센의 동화는 이런 문장으로 끝납니다. 그래서 오래오래 행복하게 살았습니다. 우리는 그런 결말을 원합니다. 지속 가능한 성장을 위해서도 기후변화 대응을 위해서도 대한민국은 P4G의 정신과 실천을 지지하며 항상 함께하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. May I ask you to please take that seat? Thank you very much indeed. We hear now from another country, ladies and gentlemen, that has also made tremendous development strides over the past 10 years. A nation that is particularly vulnerable to climate change because 80% of its population depends on the natural environment for its livelihood. Ethiopia has committed to an especially ambitious national climate action plan for cutting CO2 emissions, and Ethiopia was also an early adopter of P4G, establishing its own national platform in 2017 with a particular focus on agriculture and renewable energy. It's an honor to have with us the President of Ethiopia, His Excellency Mr. Mulatu Teshome.
Excellency, Mr. Rasmussen, Prime Minister of Denmark, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me express my heartfelt appreciation and thanks to His Excellency Prime Minister Rasmussen and the Government of Denmark for inviting us to this important first Partnering for Green Growth and the Global Goals 2030 P4G Summit, which is Global Coalition for Sustainable Growth through Innovative Partnership. Ethiopia welcomes the P4G partnership commitment to reach the ambitious targets set forth in the Sustainable Development Goals in the 5 P4G areas of focus, that is, food and agriculture, water, energy, cities, and circular economy, which are key sectors for climate vulnerability, and especially for countries like Ethiopia, which are very vulnerable in climate change. As one of the most vulnerable countries, Ethiopia can clearly see that the long-term goals of the Paris Agreement and the objectives of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development require that we must transcend any business-as-usual approach. We will be counting on our partners to implement important provisions of the Paris Agreement, including limiting the global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade, as well as on issues relating to finance, capacity building, and technology development and transfer. We are fully aware of the need for immediate action, not only in terms of implementation, but also of mitigation and adaptation. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Ethiopia attaches great importance to climate change, sustainable development, and eradication of poverty. Our Constitution and the 1997 environmental policy provide a broad constitutional and policy basis for recognizing the right to live in a clean and healthy environment and guarantees the people of Ethiopia the right to sustainable development. Green growth, protection of environment, and sustainable development are an important component of our development strategy. Guided by this policy and growth and transformation plan, we have succeeded to achieve double-digit economic growth for about the last 15 consecutive years. Ethiopia is working towards building a zero-carbon and climate-resilient middle-income economy by 2025. This national vision was translated to strategy and specific actions. To combat the adverse consequences of climate change, Ethiopia's green economy strategy is based on 4 pillars. One is improving crop and livestock production. 2 is protecting and reestablishing forests for the economic and ecosystem services. 3 is expanding electric power generation from renewable energy sources. 4 is leapfrogging to modern and energy-efficient technologies in transport, industry, and buildings. Based on our strategies, over the past 15 years, Ethiopia has given special focus to increasing our resilience to climate change by investing on clean energy from renewable sources and modern and efficient technologies, as well as by modernizing our livestock and conducting climate-smart agriculture. My government has invested on public transport, including a construction of electrified rail network. This is one of the critical steps my country, Ethiopia, is taking to pursue the guiding principle of green economy. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the challenge posed by environmental degradation affects every corner of the globe. The negative effect of climate change continues to cause havoc in our countries, undermining hard-won development gains. It is clear that we have a lot to do together to promote the interests of our group. Transitioning from the current business-as-usual model to a low-carbon, climate-resilient, and sustainable development pathway requires significant finance and investment. In this regard, I call upon the developed world to support the global movement to advance public-private partnership to help developing countries like Ethiopia achieve sustainable development and reach the 2030 goals of global green growth. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, with the adoption of the Addis Ababa Action Agenda in July 2015, world leaders expressed their commitment to revitalize and enhance global partnership, laying the foundation for the 2030 Agenda for the sustainable development, in which the relevance of private-public partnership was also highlighted. Ethiopia is making every effort to engage the private sector and non-state actors in renewable energy, agriculture, and sustainable industry development. In this regard, I wish to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to Denmark for its unwavering support to Ethiopia in harnessing its renewable energy resources. I believe that involving the private sector holds a pivotal role in our development plans and strategies. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we need global partnership and cooperation to overcome climate change. The global partnership and cooperation should provide adequate support for low-carbon development and the creation of resilient societies and ecosystems that give assurance for no one left behind. Ethiopia is committed to be the true partner of the global movement to achieve the goals set for 2030. We already have announced that we will create a carbon-neutral economy, reducing emissions by 64% by 2030. Many agree that this is more than our fair share. We need to take bold actions, and our partners need to support those actions. Science tells us that to achieve our temperature goal, we must collectively peak our greenhouse gas emissions around 2020 and reach net zero shortly after 2050. International commitment need to translate to a national perspective where countries need to revisit their policies in each sector of their economy. This is where key policy decisions guided by the internationally shared vision and agenda gets to be reshaped and redesigned. The increased international political momentum must translate to national governance. If least developed countries like Ethiopia can resolve to create a carbon-neutral economy, surely better placed nations and developed nations can and should do much more. It needs a concerted effort to tackle the challenge and to tap the opportunities. There is no time for shrinking responsibility. We owe this to our citizens, businesses, local governments, and non-governmental organizations. Let us leave Copenhagen with a promising future for our common security and survival. And I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, President Teshome. If you would please take a seat next to President Moon. Our next keynote, ladies and gentlemen, will be delivered by the leader of a nation whose economic transformation has lifted millions out of poverty. In striving for sustainable development, Vietnam is now boosting investment in water infrastructure, promoting efficient energy consumption, and also implementing circular economy principles in its very dynamic manufacturing sector. Please welcome the Prime Minister of Vietnam, Nguyen Xuan Phuc.
Thưa Ngài Thủ tướng Đan Mạch Rasmussen, thưa các nhà lãnh đạo, thưa tất cả quý ngài, quý bà, quý ông. Tôi xin chân thành cảm ơn Ngài Thủ tướng Rasmussen đã mời Việt Nam tham dự hội nghị thượng đỉnh lần thứ nhất Diễn đàn Hợp tác cấp cao vì mục tiêu xanh toàn cầu. Tôi đánh giá cao sáng kiến của Đan Mạch trong việc thúc đẩy thành lập Diễn đàn Hợp tác cấp cao vì mục tiêu xanh toàn cầu 2030. Diễn đàn sẽ là nơi để các nhà hoạch định chính sách và cộng đồng doanh nghiệp chia sẻ, trao đổi và đưa ra các kiến nghị, khuyến nghị về chính sách, đề xuất cơ chế tài chính để thúc đẩy các dự án hợp tác công tư tiềm năng trong tăng trưởng xanh. Tôi tin tưởng tại diễn đàn này, các dự án hợp tác công tư tiềm năng trong tăng trưởng xanh sẽ sớm được xác định, xây dựng và triển khai, góp phần thúc đẩy mạnh mẽ tiến trình thực hiện mục tiêu phát triển bền vững toàn cầu đến năm 2030. Là một trong các quốc gia tham gia sáng lập diễn đàn P4G ngày 5 tháng 7 2018, Việt Nam đã chính thức công bố diễn đàn P4G quốc gia với sự đồng chủ trì bởi Bộ Kế hoạch Đầu tư và Hội đồng Doanh nghiệp vì sự phát triển bền vững của Phòng Thương mại và Công nghiệp Việt Nam, cùng với sự tham gia của nhiều bộ, ngành, doanh nghiệp Việt Nam và doanh nghiệp có vốn đầu tư nước ngoài. Tại diễn đàn lần này, tôi tin tưởng rằng cộng đồng doanh nghiệp sẽ thể hiện quyết tâm chung cùng nhau, cùng chính phủ thực hiện thành công chương trình nghị sự 2030 vì sự phát triển bền vững. Tháng 9 năm 2018, Việt Nam đã tổ chức Hội thảo quốc tế rác thải nhựa và cộng đồng ven biển và thực trạng rác thải nhựa và sự cần thiết của việc phân loại rác tại nguồn nhằm tăng cường thực thi pháp luật, thúc đẩy giải pháp hiệu quả giảm ô nhiễm rác thải nhựa. Nhiều kiến nghị của cộng đồng doanh nghiệp đã được chính phủ ghi nhận và triển khai cụ thể. Việt Nam đánh giá cao những nỗ lực của diễn đàn P4G, đặc biệt là chính phủ Đan Mạch trong thúc đẩy phát triển bền vững thông qua triển khai chiến lược tăng trưởng xanh, nhất là các hỗ trợ tài chính cho các đối tác khởi nghiệp với 2 dự án được thực hiện cho Việt Nam. Đó là dự án đối tác tài chính hỗn hợp cho nước và dự án thị trường vật liệu thứ cấp của Việt Nam. Chúng tôi mong muốn tiếp tục nhận được sự hỗ trợ hợp tác hiệu quả trong xác lập các dự án hợp tác công tư tiềm năng trong tăng trưởng xanh, hỗ trợ diễn đàn P4G quốc gia Việt Nam trong việc gắn kết, điều phối và thúc đẩy mạnh mẽ các hoạt động hợp tác tại Việt Nam trong thời gian tới. Việt Nam khẳng định chung tay hành động cùng với các chính phủ thành viên của diễn đàn hiện thực hóa các mục tiêu xanh toàn cầu đến năm 2030. Thưa tất cả quý vị, tôi xin khẳng định Việt Nam sẵn sàng đẩy mạnh hợp tác, thực hiện các sáng kiến của diễn đàn về thúc đẩy các dự án hợp tác công tư PPP trong tăng trưởng xanh, đặc biệt về tiết kiệm năng lượng tái tạo, nông nghiệp, tài nguyên nước, phát triển đô thị thông minh, kinh tế tuần hoàn, v.v. Tôi xin chúc hội nghị chúng ta thành công, tốt đẹp. Xin trân trọng cảm ơn.
Thank you, Prime Minister. And again, you may please take your seat. Finally, it is a pleasure to welcome P4G's newest partner member country, a country with a very strong vision of climate action and that has made it a priority to promote the engagement of the private sector to realize the global goals. It is an honor to invite to the stage the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, His Excellency Mark Rutte.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, when Prime Minister Rasmussen invited me here today, I didn't hesitate for a moment. First of all, because he is such a good personal friend and colleague, of course. And secondly, because the Netherlands is a country that largely lies below sea level. So fighting climate change and rising sea levels is vital to us. It has been for centuries, in fact, but the challenge has never been more urgent. Even if we succeed in keeping global warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius, we must face the facts and adapt to climate change if we want to keep our feet dry in the centuries to come. And obviously, other countries face similar and sometimes even greater challenges. As you all know, water doesn't respect borders. So for the Netherlands, the P4G initiative, partnering for green growth and the global goals, isn't only a deeply felt international responsibility, it's also a matter of enlightened self-interest. P4G means that we must act at national level and that we must act together. In the Netherlands, we have set several clear goals. We want to speed up the reduction of CO2 emissions in our country and the EU by up to 55% by 2030, compared with 1990 levels. We aim to halve the use of raw materials by 2030. And we want to be a completely circular economy by 2050. But we must act in concert with other nations. Because no country, no government can fight climate change alone. I can only rephrase what I said to the UN General Assembly last month. For the sake of our planet and the generations to come, we need a transnational outlook. We need to build on constructive multilateralism as a positive force for progress, prosperity and future sustainability. The Netherlands is using the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Agreement as guiding principles in our international trade and development policies. And when I say we need to work together, I don't simply mean we governments and we political leaders. I mean academics, NGOs, and other international organizations too. And I firmly believe that the private sector also has a crucial role to play in the transition towards climate-smart economic growth. I'm proud to say that some of the largest Dutch businesses are at the forefront of this work. Not only because they feel a responsibility for the future, but also because this transition offers them real business opportunities. They realize that investing in sustainable production and new business models is the smart choice. Consumers worldwide are growing more and more aware of their personal footprint. So I believe it's encouraging that this P4G initiative brings together all parties involved. In the Netherlands, we have an active policy to involve our entire business community in our international efforts to promote sustainable growth. For one thing, it's reflected in a combination of aid and trade, which is a key feature of our development policy. More and more, we are seeing small and medium-sized enterprises joining our economic missions and programs in this field. A more targeted example is the Climate Investor One program, which was set up by the Dutch Development Bank FMO. This program makes it easier and more attractive for businesses to invest in renewable energy projects in developing countries. Another example is the growing number of agreements between Dutch business sectors, civil society and government on upholding the OECD guidelines on responsible business conduct. We realize, of course, that global supply chains can't be altered by a single country. So we also applaud the fact that the Sustainable Trade Initiative works with P4G and countries further up the supply chain, like India and China, to step up sustainability. Only global cooperation will bring the market transformation we need. Ladies and gentlemen, the first man to walk to both poles, the British historian, explorer and activist Robert Swan, once said, "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." I believe this quotation sums up the importance and the promise of the P4G initiative. This partnership is built on the premise that sustainable growth and the transition to a circular economy is a shared responsibility. We are all in this together. And as you may have gathered by now, this is entirely in keeping with Dutch policies and plans. So indeed, Lars, let's get to work and make P4G a success. Thank you.
Prime Minister, please. Pleasure. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, our summit is devoting special attention to cities for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because they are at the very forefront of demographic changes such as rapid urbanization and population growth that are triggering enormous demand for sustainable solutions. But also because they are the fulcrum for such solutions. With their diverse and vibrant economies, cities are often at the absolute cutting edge of innovative approaches. And no country in the world, I think, better exemplifies both sides of that equation than China and its cities. Its urban population is expected to reach 1 billion by 2030, 1 billion. For that reason, we have asked a special envoy for the government of China to tell us about China's experience in developing sustainable model cities in 3 locations. Please join me in a very warm applause for the special envoy from the government of China, His Excellency Wang Zhigang.
尊敬的拉斯穆森首相，尊敬的文在寅总统、穆拉图特肖梅总统、阮春副总理、马克里特首相，女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家上午好。金秋10月，非常高兴来到绿色之都哥本哈根，参加首次全球绿色目标伙伴峰会。本次峰会是落实联合国2030可持续发展议程的一项重要行动，也是国际社会交流分享可持续发展实践经验的重要平台。我谨代表中国政府向峰会的召开表示热烈祝贺，向丹麦政府为本次峰会所做的精心安排表示衷心感谢。自2015年联合国发展峰会通过2030年可持续发展议程以来，推动绿色增长与经济转型成为各国未来发展的共同使命。中国作为世界上最大的发展中国家，始终是全球可持续发展的重要实践者和推动者。中国国家主席习近平多次强调绿水青山就是金山银山的发展理念，阐明了中国现代化建设进程中经济发展和生态环境保护的关系。2015年，中国政府提出创新、协调、绿色、开放、共享的新发展理念，这既是中国经济进入高质量发展阶段的内在需要，也是与落实联合国2030年可持续发展议程的目标高度契合。近年来，中国政府切实履行承诺，发布了中国落实2030年可持续发展议程国别方案，从战略对接、制度保障、社会动员、资源投入、风险防控、国际合作、监督评估等7个方面入手，在经济、社会、环境3大领域平衡推进落实，将17项可持续发展目标和169个具体目标纳入2015到2020年国民经济和社会发展规划，获得了一系列早期收获。深入实施大气、水、土壤污染治理的3大行动计划。2012年到2017年，单位 GDP 能耗下降20%以上，单位 GDP 二氧化碳的排放量已经提前实现到2020年 下降40%到45%的上限目标。中国消耗臭氧层物质的淘汰量占发展中国家总量的50%以上，成为对全球臭氧层保护贡献最大的国家。中国积极发展以绿色技术为基础的新能源产业。2017年，风电和太阳能光伏累计装机容量分别达到164吉瓦和130吉瓦，均位居世界第一。新能源汽车保有量超过200万辆，占世界的50%，不仅有效改善了中国的产业发展结构，也为应对全球气候变化和节能减排做出了重要贡献。中国政府将落实2030年可持续发展议程减贫目标与国家脱贫攻坚事业紧密结合，实施精准扶贫。2012年到2017年，共减贫6800多万人，贫困发生率从10.2%降低到3.1%。科技创新是推动人类文明进步的重要力量，也是实现全球绿色增长和可持续发展的重要支撑。建设落实2030年可持续发展议程创新示范区，就是中国一项以科技创新促进可持续发展的创造性举措。中国的太原市、桂林市的代表今天也出席了今天的峰会，与大家共同分享他们的实践和做法。太原市将8293辆出租车全部更换为纯电动车，成为全球首个出租车纯电动化的城市。桂林市针对喀斯特石墨化地区生态修复问题，探索系统性的解决方案。中国政府非常重视发挥企业、社会公益组织在落实2030年可持续发展议程中的作用。政府提出的可持续发展创新示范区建设方案在互联网上公布，向社会公众征求意见。积极推动企业、高校、科研院所协同创新，共同解决可持续发展中的科技难题。以建设绿色技术银行为载体，促进金融资本支持绿色技术转移转化。中国始终坚持全球视野，以积极开放的态度加强与国际社会在可持续发展领域的合作，先后与联合国开发计划署、联合国工业发展组织、联合国教科文组织、亚洲开发银行等国际组织共同推动一系列合作项目，与丹麦等北欧国家在可再生能源领域开展合作研究。2016年，中国作为轮值主席国，积极推动20国集团通过了落实2030年可持续发展议程行动计划。2017年，中国与联合国环境署等国际组织一道发起建立“一带一路”绿色发展国际联盟。各位来宾、女士们、先生们，绿色是生命的象征，大自然的底色，更是美好生活的基础。建设绿色家园是人类的共同梦想。人类是命运共同体，保护生态环境、应对气候变化、实现可持续发展，需要世界各国同舟共济、共同努力。中国自古以来就有天人合一、道法自然的文化传统，这符合人的自然属性和社会属性，也会对人们的心态产生积极的影响。我们主张加快构筑尊重自然、绿色发展的生态体系，共建清洁美丽的世界。面向未来，中国将把生态文明建设、实现绿色发展摆在更加重要的位置，积极探索符合国情实际的可持续发展模式。中国将坚持科技支撑和创新引领，为议程的目标落实提供源源不断的动力。中国愿意进一步扩大开放合作，与世界各国互学互鉴，分享可持续发展的成果和经验做法，为解决全球性问题贡献智慧和力量。让我们携起手来，共同行动，努力实现人与自然的和谐共处，创造人类文明发展更加美好的未来。 谢谢大家。
Thank you very much, Minister Zhigang, for your message. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move straight into our high-level dialogue. So I'm going to ask all of the honored speakers on the stage, except for Prime Minister Rasmussen, to please take your seats in the audience. Thank you very much for these opening words, which we will certainly take with us. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, one common theme in all of the words that we just heard was not only the urgent need for action, but also the critical role of partnerships in driving the kind of transformation we will need to reach our goals. Let us hear now how some of the other distinguished speakers who are here with us today view P4G as a means of driving that kind of partnership and that kind of transformation, and thereby by accelerating our ability to meet our global goals. I would like to now ask the participants in our high-level dialogue to please join me here on the stage as I read off their names. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Abdul Hassan Mahmood Ali. He is Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh. Welcome, sir. Also, Brende is President of the World Economic Forum. Hajduka is founder and CEO of Africa Green Company, and Jadesimi is CEO of Lagos Deep Offshore Logistics Base. Welcome to all of you, please. Nice to see you. And of course, it's a great honor to have with us Prime Minister Rasmussen on this panel as well. So I'd like to just jump right in with a couple of questions about the summit theme of accelerating partnership. And I'm going to ask, if you would, for fairly concise answers, because we are just running a little bit short on time. So I'll start with a question to you, Prime Minister, if I may. And the question is this: despite progress, we are not where we need to be. I think we're all agreed on that. Why are we not seeing a faster transformation, in your view, to a sustainable marketplace?
Well, I promise to be brief. I think it's through to silo thinking, among many things. And that's why I think this idea, P4G, among other global initiatives, is the way forward. Because if we do not bring private sector and regulators, whether it's on regional or national level, together, nothing will happen. And I was actually convinced about that yesterday, where I joined in just for a couple of minutes in a workshop about energy, sub-Sahara. How can we provide renewable energy to sub-Sahara area? And it was to some extent inspired what have happened in the Nordics, where we established this common electricity marketplace many years ago, which has been a driver for going green in Norway, in Denmark, in Sweden. So can we export this idea? That can only be done if governments in the sub-Saharan area, together with businesses, work together. So bringing people together from different environments and talking about how we can facilitate this transition, that's the way forward.
Absolutely. Partnerships as a means of sharing lessons learned and accelerating scaling up. Thank you very much for that. Minister, Bangladesh has recently applied to become a P4G member, so I wonder if you would just say a word or two about the advantages that you see in joining this network.
Well, I think in this planet we are all together. So therefore, the way to the future, way for survival of all the countries are knit together. So we cannot, if we want to develop ourselves, we cannot do it separately. So we have to join together and in a partnership. So that is why we would like to, we have applied to join in this initiative, Partnership for Green, and green is the way to the future. And we have already started on our own, because Bangladesh is one of the most vulnerable countries from the climate change. And therefore, we have started, as the financing was not coming, therefore we have started on our own. We have, from our own budget, we have allocated $400 million for, action to face the problems from the climate change. Now, if there is a change in 1 degree Celsius in the the water of the ocean, then Bangladesh, 10 to 15 million people might have to move. So that's a big number, So therefore, we have to, if necessary, we are ready to face it alone. But since the partnership, under the leadership of Denmark, other countries, since our friends are coming up, therefore we are joining with them. And I think the future is bright, it looks bright. So we are here.
And we're glad to have you. Thank you. Børge, Brende, many corporations are absolutely signing up to the green growth and global goals. We saw that, a really vibrant example of that in our panels yesterday morning. But the fact is also we do need more in that area as well. We need for more companies to embark on that journey. How can we make that happen?
You're right that a lot of companies and CEOs have really even been pushing garments. In the run-up to Paris, you had CEOs saying we need to really have clear commitments on mitigating CO2 emissions, and the cost of inaction far exceeds the cost of action. And this is the language business people do understand. But I think we need to come together in a multi-stakeholder way, as the Prime Minister also has initiated here, in partnership, business, governments, and civil society. And the World Economic Forum, as the International Organization for Public-Private Cooperation, would, of course, like to also contribute. And we will not be able to walk the talk without having the private sector and the business models from the private sector on board. In many countries, private sector is 70–80% of GDP. And how can you see results if you don't have a partnership also with the private sector? And what I'm also seeing is that a lot of CEOs are now also seeing that it is good for business. Of course, overall, it is a prerequisite for existence on this planet that we succeed. That's the more existential question. But of course, it's also on the individual company side. You see that we're moving from capitalism to talentism, and if you are going to recruit the most talented, smartest people, of course they don't want to work for a company that doesn't take sustainability, gender, and these issues really seriously. And we have had reports just the last month showing there is a clear correlation between also taking this sustainability issue seriously and the result of the company. So just let's get on with it.
Particularly true when it comes to trying to attract young talent. So let me come now to the young talent on the stage with us here today. And I'll start with Anna Hajduka, who is CEO of Africa GreenCo, which in fact is one of the P4G scale-up finalist partnerships. So you must be a little kind of a buzz of nervousness today. Just tell us briefly, if you would, what's your experience so far being part of this P4G family?
It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you especially to the Prime Minister who kindly joined our session yesterday. Really what we appreciate the most about P4G is the focus on systemic change. If we focus on business as usual, we will not achieve systemic change. It's as simple as that. But business unusual is risky, and it comes with a requirement of finance unusual. I don't think finance unusual is quite there yet. We're tapping into it through blended finance routes, but really the ability to achieve and to bring about the level of investment in sub-Saharan African power sector that we need to see to achieve any of the objectives is simply not there yet. So if we are serious, it's business unusual. We are promoting one model, but there are many others out there. By finance unusual really needs to follow. And currently what we see finance unusual being is trying to financially engineer solutions to what are long-term operating assets and power markets from abroad. We can't do that anymore. We need to create power markets in Africa and self-dependable markets in all the other sectors in Africa.
Could you perhaps just briefly apply it to your particular project? You have quite an out-of-the-box project, and although we are seeing investment flowing into infrastructure in Africa, these kinds of unusual projects can be tricky to finance.
Indeed.
How do you see the role of partnerships in particular in helping to solve that challenge and perhaps leveraging the kind of financing that you need?
I think it goes back again to what is the ultimate goal of everything we're talking about here today? If it truly is systemic change, then the role of partnerships is to bring to the forefront new business ideas and therefore to facilitate the ability of the international institutions to change some of their silos of thinking. Because the devil is in the detail. It's okay to talk about aspirations and objectives and new business models. When it comes to the level of the detail, financing agreements, contracts, regulatory agreements, etc., here is where it comes to bite. So generally institutions are not yet quite there in analyzing the credit risk of business unusual. And if we don't start giving much more flexibility on the ability of these very institutions that are trying to achieve these very goals to analyze credit in a different manner, we perhaps might not be there anytime soon. So P4G has been of incredible value already to us and to the many development partners that we are working with in order to help us achieve that. And also what we like, just to in a final, it's also very good to be here in these rooms, but our key counterparts are the African utilities, the regulators, and the local partners. And really, their voices should be heard much more, because it is with them that we should leapfrog and not leaving some of them behind.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Anna. Let me come now to Amy Jadesimi. And your project is also quite unusual in that it reflects a vision of an industrial symbiosis, as you call it. So I wonder if you can just give us a sense of what the advantages of that are. Clearly, there's partnership implicit in that concept as well.
Thank you. So the company I work for is creating Africa's first sustainable industrial free zone. We have the advantage of being able to industrialize from scratch. So we're creating a completely new paradigm, which is a free zone which on our side we develop using all of the 17 SDGs as our guide. It's built into the infrastructure and it's built into the way we manage the company, and then attracting in a range of other companies to operate sustainably, and even getting them to sign a pledge that they're going to operate sustainably. And this is all private sector, local and international partnerships. And a couple of points about partnerships, just building on what has already been said. I think one aspect that is critical is you need equitable partnerships. So our company is 100% indigenous Nigerian. There are a lot of indigenous private companies in low-income, high-growth countries in the world who will want to build sustainably, as we have done, for a range of reasons. But underlying all of that is the fact that sustainability leads to profitability. So that's driving these companies to want to access the market in a sustainable way. At the same time, we need, of course, international technology, international partnerships. Our master plan was built by a European company, and we're working with British companies in order to find a range of tenants from across the world. So partnerships are key, equitable partnerships are key. The last point I'll touch on really quickly is on finance. I agree completely in terms of shifting the definition of bankability. And I think this is something everybody, I used to be a banker, so I know like the finance markets in New York are frustrated by having to invest in negative yielding assets. And part of the solution is to have a definition of sustainability that everybody everybody accepts. I was just at the WEF annual forum, and we discussed it there. The World Bank is discussing it. So I think this is something that is so critically important that I just wanted to highlight it, that we just need to come to an agreement on how to define sustainability and use that as a measure of credit.
Thank you very much. Dear Prime Minister Rasmussen, I think it's no accident that the two entrepreneurs on our panel are young women. And I wonder if you could just say a word to us about how you see the need to involve youth in this initiative in P4G.
I think it's absolutely crucial. Among many things which happened yesterday, I also had the possibility to visit some of the young influencers at the City Hall Square. And it filled me with optimism. Because, I mean, we will be around for some decades, but everything comes with a deadline. But the youngsters, I mean, they will be around for many, many years. And they are, I think, in the total approach to this, they are open-minded, and they are not, so much linked to their own nation. They think globally and act locally. So I've decided to be very optimistic about all this. And in that way, all these SDGs are totally interlinked, because, I mean, if we do not, for instance, empower women, then we will not have access to all the resources in half of the population in the entire world. So, I mean, empowering women will allow more like you to participate and will make it more likely that we will achieve the other goals, including combating climate change. So I think the nice thing about all this is you can focus on one SDG or another SDG, but it will all ensure that we are moving in the right direction. Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. And I'm going to take those as last words for this very, very interesting panel. And can we please give our panelists a very warm round of applause? And I will ask you to just briefly stay with us here on stage, because we have one more element in this session. And so if you will just please remain in your seats. Thank you very much for that. And ladies and gentlemen, in the 10 months since P4G officially got to work, the initiative's action-oriented approach, as we could see this morning, has in fact generated tremendous commitment from a wide range of leaders, not only leaders from government, but also from the private sector, from NGOs, from civil society, and from international organizations. P4G's appeal is also evident in the number of applications that have flooded in response to the calls for proposals. We've had 450 partnership ideas submitted. You've just met a couple of them, and you will meet more later on. But as all of you know, it is not only about numbers. It's also about action and about focusing on those leading actors who are absolutely willing to walk the extra mile for change. We have already seen on stage during this first session a number of leaders who are doing just that, but we now do have one more to close this session. We are particularly honored to have with us a very distinguished representative of the world's third largest economy, a country that has successfully put green growth at the heart of its activities. Please give a very warm welcome to our special guest, the Japanese Minister for Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Taro Kono.
Good morning, Prime Minister Rasmussen, President, Prime Ministers, distinguished guests from P4G countries, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor to represent Japan here at the P4G Copenhagen Summit. Thank you, Prime Minister Rasmussen, for giving me this opportunity to address the global challenges, especially the SDGs, in front of such a distinguished audience. Before I begin with today's topic, I would like to thank our friends from all over the world for your unwavering support for the complete, verifiable, and irreversible dismantlement of all weapons of mass destruction and the missiles of all ranges of North Korea. They are not just a grave concern for Japan and the Republic of Korea and others in the region. It is a serious challenge to the NPT regime. The international community must unite to fully implement the UN Security Council resolution until North Korea CVIDs them. And we are very grateful that you have been standing with us. We must secure peace before we can achieve growth and development. As you are well aware, the SDGs have one overarching principle that resonates in all 17 goals: leave no one behind. The origin of this principle can be traced back to a human-centered development concept called human security, which Japan raised right after the Cold War. When the Cold War ended, everyone expected that the entire world would be able to enjoy the dividend of peace. The end of the bipolar world, however, unleashed a harsh reality instead. Amid such circumstances, Japan maintained that the focus of development strategy should be on protection and empowerment of each individual, thereby standing by with those who are often left behind. Today, the notion of human security is ever more relevant in the face of severe poverty, an increase in the number of refugees from tyrannies, failed regimes, and conflicts, outbreaks of infectious disease, and natural disasters. We know that there are nearly 70 million refugees and internally displaced persons waiting for assistance. Hurricanes and typhoons are becoming more violent with each passing year because of the climate change. There are cries for more humanitarian assistance coming from every corner of the world, and yet we are confronted by the shortage of fresh money to assist those in need, not to mention the aid fatigue prevalent among the development economies. How can we cope with these diversified and complicated global issues in terms of financing is a big question in today's world. While we are working hard to respond to development needs and to achieve the SDGs by 2030, we should not avert our eyes from the fact that we need to overcome the huge $2.5 trillion funding gap, according to UNCTAD. To fill this gap by official development aid by governments is not an easy task, even with the help of public-private partnership. We must explore fresh ideas. Professor James Tobin's proposal to introduce a currency transaction tax is an example of the innovative financing. It is high time the international community seriously consider how to mobilize not just governments, but also the power of each one of us as responsible global citizens. In my view, a solidarity tax, an international solidarity tax, collecting tax from the people, whose activities are benefiting from globalization, and giving it directly to international organizations, which are tasked to provide humanitarian assistance for refugees and those who have suffered from severe natural disasters or conflicts is one of the viable longer-term solutions, which could pave the way for achieving the 2030 agenda. For example, if we introduce a currency transaction tax, even with a very, very, very low rate, it could easily fill the funding gap. Japan is willing to contribute to providing such ideas and strongly hopes that P4G will also take part in such discussions. It is against this backdrop, Mr. Prime Minister, I wish to express my full support for P4G, the forum you initiated, a network that fosters public-private partnership, which engages many partners who are enthusiasts of innovative financing. In the same vein, we commend the Nordic Solutions to Global Challenges, launched at the Nordic Council last year. I also fully support the P4G mission to recruit more business to promote SDGs. And on this note, I wish to conclude my speech by expressing my earnest desire to build a cooperative relationship between Japan and the P4G members, which will accelerate our efforts to achieve SDGs in the lead-up to the first ever SDG leader-level follow-up meeting next September in New York. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister, for your ringing message there. We heard yesterday a number of times that, in fact, governments are absolutely crucial partners and need to do more, and your offer and suggestion certainly do go in that direction. Many thanks for that. Dear speakers, I will ask you to kindly take your places in the audience so that we can move seamlessly into our next session. Thank you so much for being with us.